What's up? What's up? What's up? This is Newbies to Movies. I'm Tyler.
And I'm Justin.
And this is a podcast where we like to talk about new movies. And this week's theme being psychological thriller, which I think is quite an interesting topic in itself, really diving deep into the characters and how they're viewing stuff as the plot escalates and really tension itself. But first, we're going to start off how we usually do and talk about movies that we've been watching for the past week that don't necessarily have to do with the theme. And Justin, you want to go first?
Yeah, this one does connect with the theme. I watched If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. Pretty great movie I watched today. Obviously, she's nominated for Best Actress. I forgot her name again.
Rose Byrne.
Rose Byrne. Me and you were kind of talking about how the Best Actress race should be tighter, and I completely agree. I haven't seen Hamnet yet, but I doubt it's going to blow my mind like she did today in the If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. It's a pretty great movie.
Yeah. I watched it on the plane ride back from vacation, and it was insane. It was just an insane experience of a movie. I can't imagine watching it in theater. It probably would have been even better, but I don't know what I expected coming into it. I think I expected like a normal mom confused situation, but it turned into this whole thing, and great performance. I think very online with Jessie Buckley's performance. I think Hamnet's a better movie than If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. I was more emotionally impacted, I think, from it, but I'm also I would highly not recommend this for mothers to watch If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. I think I've been reading a lot of reviews that mothers either love it or it really deeply impacts them to have a little bit of a crisis. So just a warning about that, because definitely hits on that factor for moms, I feel like. Yeah, so I watched that one. And then before vacation on the way there, I watched Before Sunrise, a romantic movie by Richard Linklater. And I knew it was going to be good because everyone's been highly recommending it. And I was like, I knew this was going to be good, but the dialogue was just insane in the movie. And then just Ethan Hawke, and I can't think of the actress's name, but them just talking the whole movie. And there's just clear tension, romantic tension between each other, but they're more interested in each other's just them as a person. And it's just a great romance movie about real conversations and just how two people that really just gel just shown as they walk through Germany. And it's crazy.
Yeah, I'll have to check that one out. I know we're doing Linklater in a couple of weeks, so
yeah, it's my favorite of his by far. I gave it a 5-star because that's how crazy I was impressed by the movie. I thought it was just a perfect romance movie, number one of number one. But yeah, cool, awesome. So first, we're also gonna do a movie to movie connection. We've been seeing this all over other Instagram reels and TikTok, so we were let's try it out. Why not?
Yeah, let's see. So I guess the main idea is to try to connect an actor to a movie to another actor and get it in about as short moves as we can. Oh wow. Okay, so these are the two.
Yeah. So the two are Rocky Balboa, and you need to connect it to The Last Black Man in San Francisco. I haven't seen The Last Black Man in San Francisco, but I see one of the actors in the lead that I know has a clear connection to Rocky Balboa.
Yeah.
So I think this may be super easy, but let's try it.
So how do we start this? Do we go with Michael B. Jordan, or do we?
So Rocky is
Stallone?
the first one, so you have to do Stallone.
Yeah, it is Stallone. Yep.
And then he's got some crazy amount of movies, so we got to go all the way down to Creed. And Michael B. Jordan. Could have technically done Tessa Thompson too, I think. Yeah. And then Creed 3. And then the man, the myth, the legend. One of the very controversial figure, actually, in media. He had some crazy things happen. Anyways. But yeah. So we connected it through.
That was pretty easy.
3. Yeah. I think that was a super easy one. Just because the whole Creed franchise. But cool.
Can we try another one, or is that it?
Can
we go back in time and do
random challenge? Well, it says 10 Commandments and Child's Play. I don't think I've ever seen
either of those.
No.
All right, random challenge.
Make my own. Whoops. Past challenges. Let's find one, and we'll pick one.
Oh, I saw Iron Man on there. Oh, there we go. Do the Iron Man and the Wuthering Heights. That one should be kind of fun and hard.
Where's that? Oh yeah, there it is.
Hmm.
Iron Man 2.
Two very
Okay.
different movies.
Yeah. Okay. So Iron Man 2, connecting it to Wuthering Heights, starting with an actor.
All right.
Okay.
Help me out here. I haven't seen Wuthering Heights. Who else was in it? Like side characters.
I don't even know their names, to be quite honest. I know Greta something. Let's look them up. I think, is this cheating if we look it up? Yeah.
I'll count it.
I don't think it is if it's like of the actual movies.
Yeah.
This may be
Wait a
cheating.
second. I'm thinking backwards here. We have Margot Robbie. And she was in Babylon. Wasn't there a lot of big, like, kind of side actors in Babylon?
Yeah, Brad Pitt. I don't know about side. Yeah, because Brad Pitt, Robert Downey Jr. Was Robert Downey Jr. in any movie with Jacob Elordi? I don't think so.
He's too new. I think we're going to have to connect it with Margot Robbie.
Okay. Margot Robbie, Scarlett Johansson at all? Sam Rockwell, Samuel L. Jackson. They were definitely in something together. I just can't think of what. We could do the Samuel L. Jackson, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, or no, one of Tarantino movies, and then connect it to Margot Robbie through. You want to do that?
Yeah, I might have to. Yeah, let's do that. Won't be the best.
Also, when was Samuel L. Jackson in Iron Man 2? Oh, is it like the donut
It's just
scene?
Nick Fury, yeah. It's funny that you say it like that because I don't consider him as like Nick Fury sometimes. Like I just don't. I think of him in every other role he's been in, and it just doesn't feel the same. Feels like a different guy.
Hateful Eight. Why not? Let's do a Hateful Eight. This was not the right way to think about it at all. We should not have been Hateful Eight. We just screwed ourselves. This should have been. Man.
Oh yeah. But we pinned ourselves deep here. All right, hold on. We can get out of this.
It should have been Django. Well, we can get back to Django through Walter Coggins, though.
Okay, yeah, do that.
Dang it. We just added one. That's on me. I'll take that one. And then Leo.
We get to Leo.
Let's just keep going around a rabbit hole. Let's just choose a random one.
One battle.
And then there she is.
Margot Robbie. God damn, that took forever.
That was a bad one.
Does it show us like what the fastest one could be?
Yeah, 2. Let's see it. Chaplin. Paul Riss. Yeah, we would have never got.
Yeah, who is that guy? That's cheating.
Alrighty. Well, we tried. First one was super easy. We got humbled on the second one. All right.
I was like, oh, Iron Man or Wuthering Heights, we should be able to run this.
Yeah. I don't know why I chose Hateful Eight so quick. Like that was like the right way to go.
You're like, oh yeah, Hateful Eight. Let's just do that.
Also. But yeah, okay. So this week's theme is psychological thriller. I kind of changed this week's theme a while back just to kind of fit this because I don't know. I thought it was really interesting to go after because I think there's a lot of things that you could put under psychological thriller. I think thriller itself is a very big topic, but when you get into psychological, it's just diving deep into these characters. What are they seeing that's changing their mind? And then what directors do with that, I think is just so interesting. And you could see it in both of these movies. What do you think about psychological thrillers?
Yeah, I was excited coming into this week. We all know I'm not a big fan of horror movies per se, but thrillers have always intrigued me just because of what you can do with the plot. As we'll see in these next 2 movies we're going to talk about, you can really deceive the viewer with what the director's doing. You know, they can really send the viewer in one direction. I think about some of the biggest plot twists in movies of all time have been through, you know, these psychological thriller movies.
Yeah. And I think like one of the first ones that really started it was The Shining.
Yeah.
Like a really big example of a psychological thriller. Taxi Driver, Vertigo. Yeah, those. And then one of the directors, so Ari Aster did Midsommar, which is one of the movies this week, and then Black Swan. Hereditary is another one by Ari Aster that is super psychological thriller as well. So he's really good at like diving deep into it. Very interesting director. All of his movies are super interesting. Yeah. I really like this like theme I really like these kind of different scary movies as well that do it with it, but also just regular movies that don't need to be horror. But yeah, cool. Awesome. So the movies, yeah, this week were Black Swan and Midsommar. And I think we're going to start with Black Swan. So you go ahead, Justin.
Yeah, yeah. So Black Swan, psychological horror film following Nina. She is a pretty dedicated ballerina who kind of descends into madness while striving just to be the best version of herself, I would say. And kind of the plot follows the duality of being the innocent white swan and the very sensual black swan. With the play Swan Lake, it really dives into the themes of obsession and maternal control and sexual repression. I know we'll get into that later, but it's such a big part of the plot, kind of surrounding her the whole movie. Overall, I gave it a 9 out of 10. I really enjoyed this movie. It really pleasantly surprised me. I've heard really great things before, but yeah, I was really happy with the ending and just the whole follow through of this movie.
Yeah. For me, the plot wasn't, I didn't understand like the first half of it, but I now looking back at like all other psychological thrillers I've ever watched, it's the same thing. The first half, I'm just like lost. And then like a good movie brings it back together for me to understand. And this did that for me. So originally I had it a little lower, but now just thinking about how I viewed Midsommar watching it. And then as well as even when I watched The Shining first, I was so confused in the first half. But then it starts to get you into it and like understanding like what's going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy how the play or that what she's training for or what she got a role as of like the Swan Queen is actually falling throughout the movie itself. Like it's playing out in you as she's training to do it in front of like a big audience. And I think that is like a very cool thing itself.
Yeah, so neat. Getting into the characters, I gave it a 9. Really, only a couple main characters here, which I think is so fascinating in this movie. You had Nina, you had her mom, you had Thomas Leroy, who was kind of the dance instructor. You had Beth McIntyre, who was kind of his ex-protege, played by Winona Ryder. And then you also had Mila Kunis, who was kind of, I don't know how you would say it, a coworker, obviously, but, you know, we weren't sure the whole movie if she was good or bad. Yeah. So yeah, I thought the characters were done super well. It's always fascinating to me when you kind of you focus in on these caricatures and you know you personify them so well. Really, that's what started bringing together the whole movie towards the end for me, like you were kind of talking about.
Yeah. I've been on paper saying Mila Kunis I'm not a big fan of. I really liked this movie. I liked her character in it. I thought she was a very critical part to it where you could tell Natalie Portman's Nina is very like self-centered or like very like quiet, shy. And what she saw in Mila Kunis's character was like really bringing out something about her with Lily, and kind of like an attraction thing, really heavily attraction thing. But a lot of it didn't even happen. It was like in her head as she was like cutting calories, going through this rigorous training and like psychologically battling herself. She was imagining things happening with her, but then also looking like herself as Nina.
Yeah.
Which is very, very interesting. Winona Ryder's character was very interesting. I wish we saw her a little bit more because I was just she's like replacing her, but at the same time, she's just like a drunk. Like she used to be really great and then she wasn't.
Yeah.
And then you got like the really big asshole instructor guy. Wasn't a big fan of him. He was supposed to be the villain of the movie, I think. So it makes sense.
Yeah. It seemed like they were kind of like putting him to be the villain of the movie, but by halfway, it's almost like he didn't even matter anymore. I mean, obviously he was still like the dance instructor, but she started realizing, I think, that the villain was the other side of herself. Sorry.
Yeah. It was her becoming the Black Swan and like letting loose and being this crazy, like extravagant kind of person compared to like the shy. She already is like the white swan right at the beginning of the movie. That's what the instructor says. He's like, you got the white swan perfect. Now let's see you do the black swan. And she couldn't. And that's what she was really going after the whole time. But yeah, I really like the characters in this. Nina specifically, like just insane character development.
Yeah, definitely is a less is more kind of case, which I thought was awesome. I don't like when, you know, you take these really serious plot lines and you fill it up with a bunch of junk.
Yeah.
For cinematography, I gave it a 10. I thought it
Yeah.
was really well done. The aesthetic throughout the whole movie was great. Obviously, not a huge ballet fan. I thought it was done so elegantly and perfect. It earned a Academy Award for the nomination, sorry, for the cinematography, which I thought was really good. It used a lot of grainy film, which I thought was great. Obviously, the mirrors were heavily involved in the plot, and great camera movement throughout that too.
Yeah. The camera work was just insane in this, especially like towards the end when she's like transforming into the Black Swan. I thought that was like super cool. Also, when she's getting like the scales and like zooms in on her skin. Darren Aronofsky, the director of this, was very interesting. I know he's not the cinematographer. It's Matthew Lebetique was the
Yeah.
cinematographer. But very interesting way that he directs most of his movies that I've seen. Caught Stealing, I saw this past year. I thought this was just so unique and goes right into like diving deep into the character's mind of like you can kind of feel what she's feeling and what she's thinking too.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome to see. For the dialogue, I gave it a 9. The quote I really liked kind of kicked off the movie. I mean, like we were talking about with Thomas's character, it kind of felt one dimensional, but I did like the quote where he said, "The only person standing in your way is you. It's time to let her go and lose yourself." Couldn't help but think of Eminem there, but yeah, it was a pretty great quote, just kind of describing her overall character.
Yeah. Now, for me, the dialogue was probably like the one hit on me
Mm.
just because I felt some of it, we were led to believe some conclusions without like actual words behind them kind of thing. And for me, I just didn't see anything special about the dialogue of this movie that made it stand out for me to like really add context. While I think more of it was through camera work and editing rather that added more of the context to these scenes rather than the dialogue. So I don't think this is a movie based off of dialogues necessarily.
Yeah, the worst parts for me were definitely his character. He was just
Yeah.
so like creepy and weird. It just never felt like, I don't know. I feel like you could have had maybe another actor do it a little bit better or
Yeah.
more justice. The all the dialogue between the other characters felt pretty real to me and
Mm.
felt good, especially Natalie Portman. I thought she delivered on so many great lines in the movie.
Yeah. Yeah. She was insane.
Yeah. For set design, I gave it a 9. I thought it was super claustrophobic, kind of aesthetic for Nina and her psychological descent. The mirrors were so cool to me. I don't know if you thought those were neat, but I was just like, wow, the use of that, her seeing stuff was so
Hmm.
interesting. The
Yeah.
color palettes were also pretty amazing as well.
Yeah, the set design was insane. Just like, I mean, I've never seen a ballet studio or a dance studio really before, especially in that depth, that professional kind of environment. But that was super cool. The whole final scene of it all, and like she's actually doing all those scenes is also insane in itself. And then making it all come together to one. The costume design part of the set design was also just really cool.
Yeah.
And
For acting, I give it a 9. Natalie Portman absolutely killed here, won the Academy Award for it. I've read a little bit about it. I know she went like super method for this role, which we could definitely tell from the opening. I was like, damn, she looks really, really skinny. Like it doesn't look healthy, you know?
yeah,
But yeah, I didn't mind Mila Kunis in this. I know you famously don't like her as an actor, but I think she was pretty okay. The only one I really had a problem with was the Vincent Cassell guy. I've never seen him in anything else. I just didn't think his acting was that great. He was kind of one dimensional.
yeah, I agree. With pretty much all of it because I thought Natalie Portman's performance is like one of the best like actress performances I've probably seen of this century so far.
Yeah.
It was that amazing, and you could tell that she really just took the role and like this was like her standout and like her perfection role kind of thing. Mila Kunis really surprised me. I thought she was really good in it for once, and then yeah, the instructor I just didn't like. But I wish again, I wish we saw Winona Ryder more because I really like her as an actress as well.
Yeah, it definitely would have been cool. It felt like maybe some of her parts got cut or something because it seemed like at the end when she goes back and visits her in the hospital, it was supposed to be like a deeper connection with
Yeah,
her seeing herself in her. But I was just like, we haven't seen enough of them two together for me to care about this. That was like
yeah,
my one.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just didn't see enough. There was like no like actual interaction in between them, like real.
Yeah.
So it was like, why do I care that they keep looking at each other?
Hmm.
So
The directing, I gave it a 10. I'm not going to pronounce his last name, but Darren, my boy Darren, directed Black Swan. And yeah, it was pretty great. I thought he did a great job, like we kind of talked about already, with the camera work, super claustrophobic. I'm going to keep talking about the mirrors. That was pretty nuts scene. And yeah, I mean, it had me fooled the whole movie. I didn't know what was going on. Like you kind of talked about, like half the movie, and then her ending up her transformation or slow transformation into kind of like a werewolf swan type thing was really neat to see.
Yeah. Yeah, it was quite an interesting direction that he had with this movie. But yeah, Darren Aronofsky, he's done Requiem for a Dream, The Wrestler, Black Swan, Noah, Mother, The Whale, and Caught Stealing. All very interesting movies. This guy clearly gets really weird with his movies. It goes really deep into like human studies as well, that you can see with all these different kinds of movies. That's probably why they wanted to sign him up for Black Swan. They saw Requiem Dream and like, I got to move another one for you. So, yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I really like this movie. I haven't seen Requiem for a Dream, but out of the other ones that I've seen, this is definitely my favorite of his.
Getting into the soundtracks, I gave it an 8. Obviously, it's all music. A lot of the music's from Tchaikovsky's Swan Lake, the ballet. It's just not for me, but it was pretty greatly done. Obviously, I'm just not a fan of that kind of music, but it was pretty well done, and I think it fit well into the overall score of the movie. It was pretty good. I liked the one specifically, obviously the song that she's dancing to in the end, because I've talked about before how they reuse songs throughout a movie. I love when that's done to kind of build character arc. I think it's such a purposeful way to do that. And that was my favorite one.
Yeah. I'm on the same boat where I'm not going to listen to this kind of music on the way to work, on the way home, but it added to the movie in the way that it should. And I thought it was really impactful, and you could like feel the scene, not just through the camera work, but also through the music, especially for the final climax, which I think really just brought it all together for me. Because I was like enjoying the movie, but I was like, I don't know if I really like this all that much. And then the final climax, I was like, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
All the puzzle came together for me, and I was like, yep, that was fire.
Getting into theme, I gave the themes a 10. I thought it was perfectly done. Sometimes I've seen psychological thrillers that really feel kind of a mess when it comes to the themes because you're trying to do so much in a person's head. But this one was perfectly done. It reminded me of the themes reminded me a lot of Whiplash. Definitely, yeah, this movie is way darker than Whiplash, but just the overall toxic pressure of obsession and striving for excellence. Obviously, this one added kind of a sexual awakening theme into it too. Her kind of growing up as a female, even her mom is kind of treating her like a little girl still when she should be, becoming an adult at this point in her lifetime. And then obviously the loss of innocence with that as well as she's growing up and kind of descending into her madness.
Yeah, there's definitely like insanity is another theme of this because she's going insane just for the perfection. And then insanity kind of gets her at the end. It's like kind of a situation where like she was perfect. She got exactly what she wanted, but she died in the process of doing what she wanted to do for all her life. So does she die happy, or does she die wishing that she never went down that dark path to get what she wanted to do?
Yeah. So she did die though, right? Because from what I was reading, it was left up to like the viewer interpretation, I guess. I don't like that. I'd just rather you.
She was like less than 100 pounds probably.
Yeah.
And she was bleeding out like crazy. Like right
for
in the
probably
chest.
30 minutes or so.
Yeah. And it's like, I don't know. I ain't no doctor, but like not many people survive from that kind of thing. So
the way I had it ending in my head, just like they were talking about in the Swan Lake play, is that the swan, kills herself, and that's what she did.
Yep, exactly. That's why I thought, oh yeah, she definitely died, because like that's like what was the whole play, that she killed herself, and it was like that's the end of the movie.
Yeah,
also
I agree.
The play. So awesome.
And the editing, I gave it a 9. I thought it was really well done, rapid cut style. A lot of times, especially just to kind of signify that paranoia, mental deterioration going on. A lot of jump cuts, which I thought was neat and very jarring. Some of the scenes were really messing with my eyes, especially the hallucinations, obviously meant to be there, but really cool and well done to kind of, make the viewer wonder what's going on as well.
Yeah, the virtual effects parts to it, like the small parts added, that virtual effects I thought were really well done as well. And just overall, yeah, the cuts to it really added to like the theme of the plot of just like this insanity of like she doesn't know what she's even seeing, and I think the editing did a really well job on that.
Yeah, I didn't really even think about that too much, but her like transition into an actual swan is exactly what I think a human turning into a swan would look like.
Yeah,
It didn't look bad by any means. It just looked like jarring, it's like
yeah,
body horror, tough to see.
yeah. That's the thing. Like horror may I didn't see it being a horror movie for like the first half of the movie, and then like quickly I was like, oh yeah, this is a horror movie for sure. Especially the
Yeah.
body horror part. I was like, most people that came in thinking, oh, I'm just going to see a drama film, were probably queasing at that, not
Yeah.
expecting some body horror all of a sudden.
Dude, when she was like messing with her nails and then pulling the skin off her, oh my God, that like messed with me
Yeah.
a little bit. I was like, God.
I'm not a big body horror kind of fan. I like horror, and I won't say I like, but like gore, I don't mind. Like gory
Yeah.
films, or like I'm fine with watching them. Like I've seen all the Saw films, but that kind of body horror for me, it always gets me. It gets me like, ugh. I have to look away for a little bit.
I gave it a overall score of 9.2 out of 10 or a 92. I was really high on this movie. I wasn't coming in with really any kind of expectations. I'm just not a fan of horror movies in general. So this very pleasantly surprised me. Definitely lived up to the hype that I've heard from everybody as well.
Yeah. I gave it an 8.4, 84 out of 100, a little lower than Justin. But as I've been talking about it, I think I bumped it up by like 5. Just because I was like, oh yeah, I think I really did enjoy this movie because it made me think a lot too, which I like a movie that makes you think. Yeah.
Cool,
Awesome.
cool.
So that was the first movie we did this week. And the second one is Midsommar. So this is a 2019 movie that is directed by Ari Aster, starring Florence Pugh as like the main actress. And then as well as Jack Rayner as like the boyfriend, William Jackson Harper as one of the friends, Will Poulter, and then Wilhelm Blomgren as like the guy that introduced them to this cult thing. So it follows right at the beginning of the movie. It shows you the entire movie from an image, which quite a decision to make, and also risky. Like how would you know that that's the movie that comes into it until the end, and then you reattack the movie and you're like, oh wow, that's like the whole movie right there.
Yeah.
So it follows Florence Pugh's character, being Danny, as she loses her family, like her entire family she loses, and she's going through this grief and all that. Beforehand, it's kind of hinted that she's not doing the best, and she needs to go to therapy anyways. So that just adds on to like her problems already, like horrible grief. And from this, like she starts to go on the trip with like her boyfriend and his friends to Sweden, to where they run into like this Midsommar, like there's like a big celebration for them. And it goes into like this, they run into a cult, and two of their buddies are trying to create the thesis off of it. And then it quickly goes off the rails really quick. Right when, spoiler alerts of when, right when they fall off the cliff, that's right when it starts going down the deep end. And me personally, I'd be out of there probably once I saw them all wearing white. I'd be like, I'm out. You got me messed up. I'm not into cults like that. But they probably were recruiting people that would not leave that quickly.
Yeah.
So I gave the plot an 8 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. Even like the culty things. Me personally, I like cult kind of like movies. I think it's really interesting to dive deep into them, because cults like that do exist in this world, and they're just like such an interesting topic, because it's like, why would all these people go into one thing? And I don't really understand why, even after this movie. Why?
Yeah. My main problems with the plot of this was I felt like her parents dying had such a strong emotional kind of grip on me as a viewer in the beginning, and then it just kind of felt like it got really sidelined towards the end. And I was just like, does she remember her parents still? Like, does she remember that they would probably not want her to be in the middle of this? Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. Maybe that's just me, but I felt like it kind of disappeared. And I know that's what cults do. I know they bring you in, forget about your emotion, just get you happy and excited about what's going on. But yeah, I just felt like it could have been another 5-minute thing there where she kind of thinks back to her parents and her family, and then tries to, kind of come back to terms with who she was before she falls into who she is now.
I've watched a lot of like docuseries about different kinds of cults. So I kind of understand that they go after the weak, specifically people like Danny, that are going through this crazy grief process. And you could tell right before they go on the trip, Pele, the guy that's part of the cult, but like their friend from college. He's like, I'm glad that you're going out of all of
Yeah.
them. He's like, I'm really glad that you're going. And you could tell he's like, specifically wants her to go more than like the rest of them, or like he's really just excited. And it kind of leads into this where like everyone's kind of really picking up on her going through stuff. I mean, she's just walking away crying like for the first half of the movie. And then it kind of develops into like emotionless state. And then it lets all loose after she sees her boyfriend having sex with one of the girls, and she just lets it all loose. And then after that, just never again. It's quite interesting. Getting to characters, I gave it a 7 out of 10 because I think Danny itself was a very complex, but I didn't understand, but I saw who she was as a character.
Yeah.
But everyone else for me was kind of a miss. Christian thought was just, he was too interested in his thesis, and then he got too deep and then he couldn't get himself out. Josh, same thing. And then Mark was just an idiot. Like there was no other thing about him. Like Will Poulter's character, like I don't know, he was just an idiot. And then the other couple tried to get out of there, and they were way too late.
After watching Will Poulter and the Bear play such a serious, like hardworking character, and then I look back at his old roles, like seeing him in this, and then what's the one where they go on the RV with
We Are the Millers,
yeah. And I'm like, what was he doing his whole life?
Yeah.
Like, why was he just a goofball in everything he did?
Yeah. But because I know like a lot of these actors have really great potential, I think I was just a little let down from those other, and I don't think it was the acting. I think it was the characters itself. I just wanted more but the movie is focused around Danny. She's supposed to be the whole movie, but you had these like subtle things. Like I remember specifically there was like one scene where like, oh, where's Connie at? And they're like, well, and then Mark is just like, oh, I saw her like doing some sprints earlier. And I was like, dude, she was running away. What do you mean you saw her doing sprints? She was clearly trying to run away.
There was definitely that like really bad character decision making horror element vibe in this. It's like, all right, guys, like, like, yeah, you're going to go in the room with no lights on and the creaking sound inside. Come on. It felt like
with the
that
person just sleeping in the corner. Yeah, with the person just sleeping in the corner, which, Josh is also just an idiot in the whole movie.
I also didn't feel any sort of chemistry between Christian and Danny. And I know maybe we were just supposed to feel that way, but yeah, it was bad.
It's hinted right at the beginning of the movie, though, with like them being like, well, why are you even like still with her when you guys don't even have sex? And it's like, well, that's a little not the best thing to say. But I was just like, it's kind of hinted, but like, there's zero chemistry.
Yeah.
But she's also just like such a grieving character where like she wasn't even looking out for herself. Like, and I don't think there was any bad decisions for her. Everyone was looking out for her, but like not her quote unquote friends that needed to get her out of that situation, because that's exactly what cults do. They attract people like that. I thought the cinematography for this, for me, was a 10 out of 10. And for that reason is because of horror movies are usually dark. And this is like the first like awakening, like open daylight horror movie that I know of that is just terrifying. It's just terrifying in a way that isn't normal horror, to where it's like trying to jump scare you or like crazy scenes. It's just like terrifying because you know what's going to happen to them. You know that this group is pretty much messed up. And like from a group that's just going to smile at them while they do it. And they think everything is what they're doing is fine and normal and quite interesting. And I think the cinematography adds to this. It's green, very inviting, which is kind of scary part to it as well.
Yeah. Because, I mean, pretty much everybody looks like a normal person, right? And that's the scariest part is you don't know who's on your side. You don't know what's going on around you, truthfully, in this world. And so that's the fear that we as a viewer are feeling during this movie.
Yeah, I think Ari Aster really plays into that. And then he also plays into like, he chose Sweden for a reason, because I looked up, does this cult actually exist? Like, what is this based off of? They said there's no like lineage to Swedish specifically, but I think he's going after the fact that Swedish people are very known for being very pretty. And I think that's what he's also fitting into that narrative of that as well, because all these people are kind of better looking people throughout the film.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's also a key part of it. So the dialogue, I gave it 8 out of 10. I thought it was really well done between like the group, because I think they're just like, 2 of them are there just for their thesis. They're like, this is a great study activity, and they're not reading any of the red flags because of that. And even Danny's like, she like asks questions. And they're like, it's good. Like, like Josh knows what's about to happen on the mountain because he knows what that word means, and they don't. And he's just messing with them. And it's like, dude, if you would have told them, they probably wanted to get out of there, and then they would have probably survived. But no,
Yeah,
instead,
like what a funny prank! You get to watch somebody die.
yeah, it's like what? And then they're like, you don't understand. This is part of our tradition. Like you're the judgmental one. You're the weirdo for judging us for wanting to do this. And it's like, what? You just watch people walk off a cliff, and you guys just reacted in like a way of screaming. Like you're calling us the weirdos? Like.
And then Mark's just there to get high and piss on their sacred trees.
Yeah, he just missed like the cliff scene. Like, where was he the whole time?
He was the only one pissed too. He was like, dude, you should have told me. I would have been there.
Yeah. I feel like if he was there, he would have just been like, yo, that's sick. Like an idiot. But yeah, I thought the dialogue was all right though. The acting, I gave a 9 out of 10. And specifically because I think Florence Pugh is just like amazing. Incredible. In this film. I could see how people saw this and were like, yep, cast her and everything. Like she's the next big thing. She just takes over the movie. Both of these movies have the female leading actresses that just take it over, and just great performances. I wish she got more love. Like at least get some kind of nomination. Kind of sad that it didn't, but it is what it is. These kind of weird horror movies never get like loved like this. Like, because this is like weird onto like a different level.
Yeah, I felt like parts of this movie like were trying to be weird just to be weird. This is the same guy that did Begonia, right?
No, that's Yorgos Lanthimos.
That's Yorgos. I think this guy was like worked on it or something. I read he worked like with Yorgos on Begonia, and that's what I was feeling. The same level of like, just like, all right, you had me, and now it's just weird. Like, it's just overly weird at some points.
Yeah, which again, I would only recommend this movie if you're like fine with like weird movies, because Ari Aster, he did Hereditary, also really weird movie. He did Eddington this year, really weird like COVID movie, but not a horror movie necessarily. Just weird in like the way that it approaches like how COVID interacted with it, which kind of just gets right into directing for me, which I gave a 10 out of 10 because I like these kind of movies. I don't know. I enjoy like the weirdness of films. I like when directors just go all out and kind of just, let their nuts hang. He's like, you know what? If you're into a weird movie, I'll show you a weird movie. And you know what? It caught me, and it made me want to watch Hereditary after this again, even though I've seen Hereditary before. And then, yeah, I like Eddington. So these are my kind of films, though.
Yeah, kind of like I already talked about, the one main thing that kind of threw me was just like how her parents dying was such an emotional thing for her in the beginning, and then by the end it just felt like it was thrown away. Again, I get it's the cult thing, they're trying to purposely do that, and we as the viewer then have to go through that as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I just, it felt overly weird for me. It's just kind of disconnected me at some points. And then same with the dialogue and the characters, like we talked about. I just had issues with kind of the supporting cast around Florence Pugh, I guess. But yeah, she killed it. She was amazing.
Yeah. No, I could definitely say that like this is not a movie for everyone. Like I can 100% see why people do not like this film, because I do think it's overly different kind of weird. But yeah, they're like drugging her throughout like the whole movie, so like that also makes her like forget things or like overfeel things. I think that's what the whole final like sequences of like her overfeeling it and getting it all out and expressing it all out while he's doing also some weird stuff that he feels obligated to do.
Yeah.
Which that was like a whole different side sequence.
Was that in the regular cut or was that in the extended version? Because I don't know what I watched, but I heard there was 2 different versions.
What I watched was him having sex while like all these old naked ladies were surrounding him.
Yeah, that's what I saw too. Yeah, but from what I heard, there was like an extended cut that was like way, way weirder. And so I'm assuming that's what we watched.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, that was weird. They were like in the motion with her, doing the moans with her, and I was like, what is going on? But like, again, like, I don't know, like weird is weird.
Yeah.
Sound effects, I gave a 9 out of 10 just because, again, like the sounding of like the eeriness of the light, like the daylight horror for me added to it. That's what made it so scary as well. Cause like, you're like, oh, nothing looks weird about this. But then the music makes it feel weird. And I was like, that's pretty sick to make like something so beautiful feel not right.
Yeah, and then I mean some parts of the music too were absolutely beautiful, and then it would kind
Yeah.
of transition into that weird eerie sounding feeling, and it just made you feel off, even though it was, fields of flowers and beautiful people walking around. It was like, what is going on?
Yeah, exactly. And like the symbolism of like, we can get into that in theme. I'll leave that for theme just because there's so
Okay,
much symbolism in this whole film.
yeah,
That design, I gave it 10 out of 10 because this was set in Sweden. It feels like it's in Sweden. It just straight up feels like a cult like base. I don't know how else to say
yeah,
it. Like 10 out of 10, they checked it off. Like it feels like exactly where if you walk up to that group, you're like, well, I'm not making it out of here. Either I got to
yeah,
join them or I got to just go on survival mode here and go Rambo.
yeah. No, yeah, set looked great, like we talked about. It was just so pretty and such
Yeah.
a interesting decision to make for a horror movie.
Yeah. And then editing, I gave it 9 out of 10. For me, there was nothing felt lulling in this movie that I don't think that if it was cut would have taken it out. If anything, I would want some stuff added, to add a little bit more context to like their relationship, especially or at least some like feeling in between each other,
Hmm.
of them actually having some romance. So I think Josh would have been a really interesting character as well, like the other guy doing the thesis. I don't think I
Hmm.
want to see more of Mark. I think Mark was just supposed to be the idiot.
Yeah, yeah,
Even though I
clearly.
like Will Poulter as an actor, I just don't think he was given a lot to work with in this one.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I felt like the middle dragged a little bit. I mean, as soon as we saw the people jump off the cliff, I was like, okay, like they're messed up. They're messed up people. We know this. And then it felt like the next 30 minutes or so after that kind of dragged for me. It was kind of them coming to terms with their emotions of seeing people dying. It was like, yeah, that's how we all feel. Now let's get to this. Like you either need to get out of here or get on with it.
Yeah, which the other couple that they met tried to get out of there, and then they just killed
Yeah.
them because they're like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
you're not getting out of here and telling people what we do." Like, end of the day, once they got in there, they were not getting out. Like they were constantly
Yeah.
being watched. I think that's also part of this cool cinematography of this. It makes you feel like you're always being watched, which is really cool. Okay, now diving deep into the themes, which I think there's a lot. So there's grief, rebirth, cycle of life, death, just renewal. So I'll just start off with like flowers in this film are a big thing about rebirthing the entire time.
Yeah.
So like it's like the whole May Queen thing once she gets it, and then also like the whole sex scene is like big about like rebirth, and as he's like quote unquote putting a baby in her,
Yeah.
because that's like the whole point of it. What did you think of like the flowers?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you use so much, but even to I just throw it bluntly, she's absolutely like I'm pretty sure she's being restrained by the flowers at the end. Like,
Yeah,
and so she is then being reborn, and we see that with her smile at the end. I thought that was a really cool scene.
yeah. That end scene is like really iconic, but like I've seen some really bad takes about that final scene of like people on Twitter or something and being like, oh, like I wish I was like this. And it was like, no, like she just got brainwashed. Like
Yeah.
she just got brainwashed to be a different human being and like didn't actually take on like what happened to her and what happened to her life. Uh, it- what
No,
happened
I
in the
know.
movie was a bad thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think people were
Anybody
talking
that
about
doesn't,
they were like really focusing in on like her toxic relationship, and they were like, "Oh, I wish like I could be as strong to get out of this my toxic relationship." And it's like, no,
yeah,
that's not what happened at all.
yeah,
This toxic
yeah, no,
relationship has been done. Like that was
yeah,
over a long time ago. Now they're both
yeah,
screwed.
yeah. Now this guy, like, he may not be the best dude, but nothing gave off to where he was like the worst dude of all time to get what he got. Any of these
Yeah,
people.
both of them were toxic to each other. That's just how it
Yeah,
was.
yeah, exactly. And then the May Queen transformation, the rituals, manipulation of like toxic relationships, and then just like cycles of life and death and how the cult viewed like once you're 72, you're dead. Like it was a joke at the beginning. They're like, oh, what happens at 72? And then they went like this, and then like, no, they actually meant like you die. Like you actually like you have to walk off that cliff,
Yeah,
which is just insane. So overall, I gave the themes a 9 out of 10 just because there's a lot of them, and
yeah,
sometimes there's too much, but I thought each one was just symbolized by different things. I tried to look up what the shapes meant because there were so many triangles. I don't
yeah,
really know what that means. I think it's just equilateral. I don't know. Equal parts of life of triangles,
yeah.
but I feel like that's just diving too much into it.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like you could. There's like so much just imagery and paintings and so many things that you can really look into. Like we talked about with the beginning scene, we kind of see that mural of how the movie goes.
Hmm.
And so there's a lot we can dive into on those. You could dig all day probably. And I think directors do that on purpose, right? They love they yearn for the super fan to do that for their master artwork, you know.
Yeah.
Specifically with the themes though, yeah, I enjoyed all of them. I did feel like they started stacking up a little bit to me where I
Yeah.
would get not lost, but I was just getting kind of like, all right, I can't think about this too much or I'm going to get like frustrated
Yeah.
myself watching this.
Yeah.
But no, overall, the themes were pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. So I gave it overall 8.9 out of 10 or 89 out of 100. Pretty high rating, but I'm more of a horror fan. So like, that's also why I'm a little bit probably biased, why I liked it, because it's quite a different take on horror, which I really appreciate.
Yeah, I was a good bit lower on it. I gave it a 68 or 6.8 out of 10. I just had problems with the middle pacing. I didn't like how her character arc kind of got flipped on its head. And then as well as I'm blanking on her boyfriend's name, I feel like he was kind of a nothing burger for the first half of the movie. And then all of a sudden he was important to the theme just because he looked pretty.
Yeah.
Felt kind of cheap. If you're going to do that, just give me some more of him. Give me some more of his background and his understanding. All the side characters, just kind of wasn't a fan of that. But
Yeah.
overall, it was a good movie. It was a good watch, but I probably wouldn't go back and watch it again.
Yeah. I don't know if I would rewatch this in the next couple of months.
It's a lot
This
to
is
take
not
in.
yeah, it's a lot. Not an easy watch at all, but yeah, awesome. So yeah, I kind of enjoyed it, but is what it is. Awesome. So next, what we're going to do is we're going to do a very broad draft, just thriller draft, because I thought about doing psychological thriller draft, but I was like, that's very niche. And I don't think we've watched enough to do just psychological thrillers, even though you could probably count some of them as, I'd rather just do a basis thriller draft. And with the categories being Oscar nominated, box office over 250 million, crime thriller, dystopian thriller, ensemble cast of a thriller, and then wild card. There could be like a crazy amount of movies that could count as this. And honestly, if you just like don't agree that one counts as a thriller, I'll take it and then try to choose a different one. I'd be fine with that personally.
Same with me. I was kind of looking at a list of thriller movies and it was all over the place.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
If you did psychological thriller, I feel like we'd be kind of really reaching on some. And with thriller, it's just like an open season. So we're going to really see what we really like today, I think.
Yeah. Awesome. So I'll do the wheel of choices. Yep, of course. And it's Justin. So Justin, you get to pick first, and then I get to pick second. Awesome.
Did we ruin Tyler's day today?
You go for what movie I think you may go for.
Is it the one on your wall?
I don't know which movie you're talking about.
I'll take, for Oscar nomination, I'll take Parasite.
Okay.
I'm being nice. Are you sweating?
Yeah. I was like, come on, man. Come on.
Yeah, great movie. We've done this on the podcast. Really, yeah, I would count this as a psychological thriller too. It really just kind of messes with your head. You know, Bong Joon-ho and his class systems. This is probably his magnum opus, and yeah, I really love this one. Yeah,
this brought like a highlight to Korean film like no other film did before, and what really showed people what Korean films can do. And yeah, I definitely count this as a psychological thriller. Really, really good one, man. This was on my list as well. All right, since I think you wanted to pick it, I feel like I just got to go with my favorite movie of all time, and that being Django and Oscar nom.
Okay.
I feel like this counts as a thriller.
Yeah, no, definitely.
It's a Westerner thriller. Yeah, we talked about it literally last week. So if you want to check out, or 2 weeks ago. So if you want to check out that episode, you'll see me just glaze Django as a movie itself. And you understand how much I love this movie. And then I'll take the other one that I think you want to pick behind me, because I think all three behind me technically count as thrillers. So I'm going to take Crime. I'm going to take Heat.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's the one I was originally thinking of, just to mess with you.
Yeah, I mean, I love Heat. It's a 5 out of 5, like close to perfect movie to me. And they're making a Heat 2, actually. We could talk about Heat 2 for a second. if you've seen the new announcements for it. So Heat 2 is under, I don't think it's under protection yet, but it has been announced that Leonardo DiCaprio and Christian Bale are going to be set to play Al Pacino and De Niro characters. So the way Heat 2 is going to be framed is going to be before Heat happens and after. So after is going to be following Val Kilmer's character as he's escaping and like on the run from a different boss, like a crime boss. And then before is at De Niro and Pacino are really close to each other, but they're fighting like the same person. So there's a sole like villain that they're both going up against.
Okay. So they're playing the same characters as before.
Yes.
So who's playing who? Do you know?
I don't know. If I had to take a guess and based off of looks, I think Christian Bale is playing Al Pacino and Leonardo DiCaprio is playing De Niro, if I had to take a guess. Because it's set literally like a year before the Heat happens. So people are like, oh, but they're the same age, but it's set before. And I'm like, it's literally set a year before. It's not a crazy like age difference, younger.
Yeah. And I was thinking too, like them, Al Pacino and De Niro, their age at the time of them making Heat is probably about the same as DiCaprio and Bale are right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm looking forward to it because I don't think Bale and DiCaprio have ever been in a film together.
No, that should be fun.
Dude, yeah. And I've heard Austin Butler maybe as Al Kilmer, which I think would be perfect because he looks dead like him. I don't really know who else I would want to do that. I heard Adam Driver's going to be in it. And if I'm guessing, he's going to be like the boss before, like the main boss, like that they're going up against.
Dude, that's stacked. Holy shit.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it because the cast looks crazy. Michael Mann, I haven't read the book, but I heard the book is just crazy good. I'm looking forward to it. Got me signed up. I'll be there day one. But cool.
All right.
Yeah.
So for mine, I think I'm going to go ahead and get ensemble cast out of the way, and I'm going to take The Departed.
Yeah, that was my number one pick for that one.
Dang. So yeah, what was this, week 1, week 2?
Yeah, I think it was week 1.
Yeah, such a great movie. We were talking about it at trivia this week, actually. Something came up with, I don't even remember, but yeah, great movie. I love the actors and really great cast all around. Kind of crazy cast, just thinking about where everybody's kind of gone in their own different directions in their career at this point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, insane. You have Jack Nicholson, like kind of like the end game of his like career, but one of the greats of all time. Then you got DiCaprio just like doing his thing like in the mid 2000s, Matt Damon doing his things in mid 2000s, Mark Wahlberg now just going off and making like 5 movies a year. So it's just crazy. And Alec Baldwin just becoming the going more comedy route too after that. So that's why I wanted to pick it so bad, but you got it.
And then let me see here. I think I'm going to wait on crime. I think there's a lot of those out there.
There's so many.
Let me go ahead and take Blade Runner 2049 for dystopian.
I had a feeling you were going to pick this one.
Yeah, we watched this on the show as well. Actually, I'm going to try and pick one we've watched on every week of the show. I'm going to stick to the bit now. Yeah, we watched this one.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I'm just saying that. We watched Blade Runner 2049. I love this movie. Such great cinematography, such great storytelling, and really, in a thrilling sense, just kind of misleads you as a viewer in so many points throughout the movie, which is so fun and interactive and really keeps you on your heels.
Yeah. Have you tried to watch the first one yet or no?
I haven't got the chance to yet, but I definitely need to, especially just to understand a little bit more of the lore.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to know. I mean, you understand kind of what's going on from Jared Leto's little monologue, but
yeah, Jared Leto.
Hey, not bad in Requiem for a Dream. I will say it was actually kind of okay.
Maybe I need to check that out then to actually stop hating on him. And Black Swan turned me around on Mila Kunis. I was hating on her for a solid second.
Yeah. We're changing this year.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of where I'm going to go next. I think I'll go with box office over 250 million, and I'm going to go with 7.
Okay. Haven't seen it yet.
Yeah. I really like this movie. David Fincher movie, Brad Pitt, Morgan Freeman, and Kevin Spacey. Wow. This is just a crazy like crime thriller, kind of psychological thriller as well. I'm not going to give the movie away, especially if you haven't seen it, and we are planning on doing David Fincher like the next month. Yeah. Crazy movie. What's in the box? If you get it, you get it.
I've seen that before. I just don't know what it means.
Yeah. And then for dystopian. Another movie that we haven't done on the podcast, but like another movie right behind me. So Dark Knight.
Yeah.
It's definitely dystopian because it's a comic book movie. It's based about Batman. For me, like a 5-star film. Heath Ledger's Joker, the best Joker of all time, and it's just insane. I love The Dark Knight. I rewatched it on my birthday. That's how much I liked it.
Damn, dude, this draft's hard. There's so many like good ones.
Yeah, I know.
What are we gonna do here? So I think I'm just gonna go ahead and take my wild card, just because I'm kind of shocked it's still on the board. I'm gonna take Marty Supreme. Very different kind of, obviously not in the sense of any immediate like crime or danger or big, how do I say it? Existential threat kind of imminent, but such a really thrilling movie. This movie almost made me have an anxiety attack in the theater, dude. It's just so
Yeah, me too.
stressful and
Just
there's so
adrenaline
much
rush.
going on. Yeah.
It's just straight adrenaline rush, the whole movie. Like, I remember coming out of the theater telling my mom, I was like, I'm on like adrenaline high for like the next 3 hours, I think. I think that movie did some crazy things. Well, like a similar movie experience I had with Hamnet was I just came out and was just wanted to cry for like the next 2 hours. Just crazy what movies can do to you sometimes.
Yeah.
Cool. And you got another one.
Oh, I do. I'm sorry. I'm sitting here like a dummy. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take Black Swan with box office over 250. I'm not going to talk about it too much, but I really did enjoy this one, kind of on all aspects. It was really fun to watch and dive into this kind of psychological genre.
Yeah, it's a really good one. Man. So ensemble cast, I should have picked The Departed earlier just because I feel like that was like all I really had down. But you know what? I'm going to go with my movie of 2025. I'm going to go with Sinners for ensemble cast.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I think it's not maybe the biggest names. Like you got Michael B. Jordan, which is going to start to be the biggest name. Like he's crazy good. But like everyone else, low-key, like actors, but like just do so well in their roles for this film. And they're so well together as well. And I think that's why I had to pick it for ensemble cast.
I think I did it.
And
Go
then,
ahead.
So all I picked right now is like 5-star film. So for this last one for wild card, it's just like, what other 5-star film am I going to pick? And I think I'm going to go with what I have a poster of, but I haven't made it yet behind me. And another one that we've done on the podcast, Prisoners for wild card.
Yeah, that's a good one. I was hoping that wouldn't get left on the board for me here coming up.
Yeah. Prisoners. Yeah, we did it on the podcast a while back, but it's so good. Hugh Jackman and Jake Gyllenhaal. Paul Dano. It's just, man, it really makes you feel like dread the whole movie and like seeing like what people will go through to get their kid back. It's insane. All right.
I did it. I'm taking 6 movies that we've all done on the podcast. I'm going to say, give me the keys, you cocksucker. I'm going to take The Usual Suspects for a crime movie.
Dang, you did it.
I did it. It wasn't as hard as I thought, dude. There's so many good thriller movies.
Yeah. We've pretty much done them every week. Because another
I even
one
had a backup there. If for some reason that wasn't there, I was going to take Fargo.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Fargo is like another one that could have been easily taken on it. Yeah, that's insane, but cool. Yeah. Just crazy good thrillers that we picked. For me, all of mine are 5 stars, so like I can't even be upset at this team. I feel like people pick it. It's just going to be which movies do they like more out of it?
Yeah.
Because I think we both picked like 5 of our or 6 of our favorite movies ever.
Do you want to do some honorable mentions? I feel like I was disrespectful to so many movies by not taking them here.
Yeah, I had such a short list just because it was such a short draft for us. Because there's probably so many more that I'm not even mentioning. Okay, go ahead first.
So, box office, I had Joker. That is a very thrilling movie, and I think we could even counter that as a psychological thriller.
Well, that's 100% psychological thriller.
Yeah, the second one never happened. Don't talk to me about it. Inception, really good one. Sixth Sense, pretty clear one there. Shutter Island, another crazy one. For crime, we talked about Fargo, Silence of the Lambs, Memento, and Zodiac. I know you like that movie too.
Yeah.
And then dystopian, I thought about Snowpiercer, another Bong Joon-ho. Interstellar, I guess we'd kind of count that as dystopian.
I saw it on a bunch of lists, so I was going to count it.
Yeah, and then Ex Machina too. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
I've seen it. That's a
Yeah.
psychological thriller too.
Yeah. Ensemble cast, I had Reservoir Dogs, Hateful Eight, and Pulp Fiction. Shout out Tarantino.
Yeah.
And then wild card, I had Uncut Gems and Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho.
Another one we did on the podcast.
Yeah. I didn't say Jaws, but yeah. I forgot about Fight Club as well, but I wasn't going to pick it because I was taking them all from our podcast. Yeah. So, yeah.